Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good morning, good night, wherever in the world you are. Good evening, good night, good morning, whether you're in Europe, you're in Africa, you're in Antarctic, North America, South America, Asia. It doesn't matter where you are. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another evening of Jamaica Track and Field Legacy. And of course, I have one of my many, many favorites in the building, and we're going to have fun tonight. We're going to have fun tonight. She is none other than Shevon Stoddart-Nieto. Yes, I hope I got the pronunciation right. She's going to tell me when she come on screen. But she's here with us tonight, and let me tell you, this young lady, she is not just an athlete. She is an athlete. She's a singer. She's an actor. She is everything. She's a mom, you name it. And guys, she is here in the building with us tonight, and we're going to hear her story. Of course, her story is filled with a lot of things, and we're going to hear about her story tonight. We're going to hear about the unfortunate situation that happened with her boyfriend at the time, now her loving husband. But guys, don't go anywhere. Stay right there. And before I get into the intro, let me just say a big congratulations to Johan Blake. He received his Order of Distinction Award on Monday in Jamaica at the on Heroes Day. So I just want to say a big, big congrats to Johan Blake, who has contributed a lot to Jamaica Track and Field legacy. But guys, tonight is all about Shevon. So don't go anywhere. Stay right there. I don't know if you're as excited as I am, but I'm very, very excited tonight to learn who this young lady really is. Of course, we know that she's an Olympian, but there's so much more to her, and we're going to hear that tonight. So don't move, don't go anywhere, stay.
Jamaica's track and field legacy is unmatched. It is a story of triumph, resilience, and extraordinary talent. But do you know the stories behind the athletes who brought us glory? Hi, I'm HP, founder of HP Chat Track. My mission is simple: to celebrate the rich legacy of Jamaica track and field and shine a light on the incredible people who make it happen. Winning that race was a dream come true, but the journey wasn't easy. It's not just about medals, it's about inspiring the next generation. Jamaica track and field isn't just a sport, it's our pride, our culture, our heart. Every week I sit down with athletes, coaches and fans to bring you stories of dedication, passion and legacy. Plus, we've got exciting news and exclusive insights into the world of track and field. Make your Thursday night be at HP's place. Come hang out with us at HP Chat Track Studio, where track and field is our business. Jamaica. One people, one legacy.
Jamaica, one people, one legacy. Guys, look at this smile on my screen. These are the smiles that I love to see, the faces I love to see. And just a correction, Miss Vilma Charlton is saying that Johan got a CD, not an OD. So congratulations to Johan just the same. Thank you very much for that, Miss Vilma Charlton. Tonight it is all about Shevon Stoddart-Nieto. Did I get it right?
Yes, yes.
Awesome, awesome. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And thank you for having me on the show. I was very excited to be here.
And I am just as excited to have you here tonight. And I love to start with the roots, getting to know our athletes, where their roots were planted. You did not grow up in Jamaica, where you went to high school in
Yes,
Jamaica and
yes.
all those niceties. But before we get into that, just tell me a little bit about where in Jamaica your roots are planted. Which parish are you from, or your parents,
Yes.
grandparents from?
Yeah. Well, I was born in St. Andrew. My parents are in Mount James. And I left Jamaica when I was about 4 years old. And I went to New York, Long Island, New York after that. But as a lot of people know, that seems to be where Jamaicans like to go, and Trinidadians and Haitians and everybody, which I don't really know why, because it gets cold. And I couldn't wait till I was finished with high school so I could move to someplace warmer. But yeah, no, I was born in Jamaica. My mother and my father are Jamaican, and most of my family, about half of the family, is still there in Jamaica. And Jamaica has always been, you know, the heritage, the culture, everything has been part of my life. So even though I left at a young age, I never really felt like I wasn't Jamaican or just removed from the culture.
Awesome. And I'm going to ask you a question now that I
Mm.
love to ask my guest. You're a Jamaican.
Yes.
Jamaica is known for nicknames. Do you have a nickname?
Oh, Nick, you know what? I don't necessarily feel like I have a nickname. I would say, some people call me Chevy or Vani or something like that, but you know, I don't really, I don't know why this is ringing in my ear like Marga Pitney, because that when you're skinny, they always call you that. And then,
Oh,
but
yes.
luckily, that never became a part of my nickname. So no, I was always called Siobhan.
Awesome. Pronounce your middle name for me.
Kewana.
Kiwana. That's
Yes. W.
Kaiwana.
Yes, my dad gave me that name.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kiwana. Oh, wow. Awesome. Awesome. As you said before, you migrated very early to the
Yeah.
United States.
Yeah.
Before you even know what was happening around you, you were migrated. What was it like growing up in a Jamaican home in a foreign country?
Well, I still remember, even that young, I remember when I moved to New York. I remember, I went to Southern Prep. That's my earliest, memories being in my uniform and going to school, and, and I with my cousins and everything. Going to New York, at such a young age, I felt like my parents, we always made sure, that we came back every holiday, every time we could. The food was still there, so we were able to eat good. The music was there, so there's a lot of parties and all barbecues and things like that. So I didn't have the opportunity to be in Jamaica, through my high school years, which I always wondered, like, how would it have been if mommy never moved to the US and I was able to go to high school, because it's always exciting to see the boys and girl champs and all those kind of things. But I always wondered that. But growing up in New York, coming from Jamaica, it's one of those things, especially, as I even just started to do sports or have that interest, when someone says, they're from Jamaica or they have some kind of Caribbean, you already kind of expect, oh, they must have some kind of talent. They must be pretty good. So, it was always that, remembrance that, you're Jamaica. And even though I was there, I just still feel like, I still represent Jamaica. I was Jamaica, especially when everybody around you was from Trinidad, Haiti, El Salvador. A lot of Italians, it was a melting pot in New York. So everybody was from somewhere. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and if I remember, the day when I asked one of my friends, so where are you from? And they was like, oh, here. And I was like, what do you mean here? And they was like, no, here. And I was like, okay, so where's your parents from? You know what I mean? Like, where's your parents from? And it was like, here. So, and that was really surprising for me, because I was like, oh, wow. It was really surprising because everybody came from somewhere.
Somewhere, indeed.
Yes.
Sports and academics in school in Jamaica is a big deal. It
Yeah.
is a big deal.
Hmm.
How were you discovered as
Hmm.
an athlete that you had athletic abilities?
Well, I started to run when I was in seventh grade. I remember in like sixth grade, they had like a sports day, and they had, like you get to run around and try different events. And, at that point, I saw that, I was good. And I had my father, he was a police officer in Jamaica, but he also ran in Jamaica. And I had some other family members that ran already. So I knew I had it in my genes, and I had this neighbor across the street. Her name was Mrs. Herb. She was my tutor at that time. And she was just like, you got to try out for the track team when you get there. And I said, I will. And I remember when I got to the seventh grade, I quickly rose to the top, running very fast. And the time I was in eighth grade, my coach was like, you know what, you need to run with the high school. You need to go up to the high school. And the way our school was set up, it was seventh, eighth, and ninth grade for the junior high school. And so I would have to get on a bus for my ninth grade year and then go to the high school so I can be on that team, and as a young, athlete, that could be a little, intimidating because now you're going to the high school just to get on a team. But, I was excited. I was excited for it because I'm from Uniondale, New York, and we had a very good track team. There I had a lot of great teammates. I had a girl on our team. Her name was Keon Soli. She's Jamaican too, but but
Jamaicans are everywhere, darling.
exactly. And I mean, she was an 11,300 meter runner in high school. Everybody on that team probably at least ran underneath 11,700 or faster. So I had great athletes to train with. Coming in as a ninth grader, and but that did, and but that didn't stop me because I really wasn't shy. When I got on the track, I just went for it, and I just kept my eye on those girls, and they didn't like it. They didn't like it. It was like, who's this little girl coming up here, just running and doing these workouts, and always running on her back, until one day I said, okay, I'm gonna get it. I'm ready today for this workout, and then zip by, did that, and I instantly rose to the top in the 400 meters as a ninth grader. I ended up being number 3 in New York State as a ninth grader, and it was from that point when I realized, okay, I'm pretty good at this. I'm pretty good, So, yeah, I asked my coach at that time, what was the highest level in this, and he said the Olympics. And at that point, I said, okay. I set my eye on the Olympics at that point, and he wanted to slow me down and say, whoa, 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 whoa. I want to make sure that that's like winning the lottery, and I was just like, okay, you
Wow.
know,
So as a little girl,
yeah,
you had your eyes on going to the Olympic Games very, very early. At Uniondale, you became two times state champion.
yes.
While in high school, how much did you think about the global sport? I mean, you heard about the Olympics, but how
Mhm.
much were you really thinking about, I want to go there, I am going to be there? Was there a
Mhm.
Jamaican that you heard about
Oh yeah.
that? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, just as a young athlete, I just kind of remember, I think it was a 2000 Olympics when I was younger, and at that time it was Kathy Freeman, and she had the whole one piece thing, and I was like, oh wow, that's nice, and she ran the 4, and I was like, oh, I wanted to do that. But when I saw that I had that talent when it was in the ninth grade time, and at that time I think it was Sandra Former Patrick, she had the New York State record, and I want to say that she has Jamaican in her as well, so I remember at that time I wanted to I wanted to get that record, and as a high schooler. But the thing is, I started out as a 400-meter runner my freshman year, and then I moved to the 400 hurdles my sophomore year, because we didn't have any more hurdlers, so my coach put me in the hurdles. So I ended up being second at that time in New York State, and then my next 2 years I was number 1. um and like I said, from the moment I said that in the ninth grade that I wanted to be an Olympian, that was pretty set. That was very set. I feel like, because even before I had my mindset on being an Olympian, I was 8 years old when I said I wanted to be like Whitney Houston. So my passion for singing actually came first. And I was a singer. I did voice lessons, and I sang in church, and funerals, anywhere. I was always singing in my mom's salon. In anybody that wanted to hear me sing, I was singing.
So
And
you were actually singing before you
yeah,
became that athlete that
yes,
we Jamaicans came to know. Interesting. And we're going
yeah,
to talk about that a little bit.
yes.
You are the third, I think, the third of you're the third person from the University of South Carolina
Oh
that I've
yeah,
had in my chair. I've had
yes,
Aileen, I've
yes.
had Chelsea Hammond, and now I have you,
Thank God.
and all three of you made the Olympic team
Yes.
2008. That is just outstanding for the University of South Carolina. But from high school to the
Mm.
University of South Carolina, full scholarship.
Yes, yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, coming into South Carolina, they we were the number one recruiting class coming in that year. We ended up winning NCAA's first time in the school history that year. The team was just a powerhouse, from having Aileen on the team and having Lashinda Demas on the team and Tiffany Ross on the team and Mickey and Lisa Barber. We had so many great athletes, and I remember going on my visit here, which was one of my last visits, as I was visiting the schools to see which was I was going to go, because I was going to actually go to another school. And then this was one of my last visits that came up. But when I visited the place, I love the girls. I love the atmosphere, and Coach Fry. And the thing is, even with South Carolina, it wasn't like our school had all the fancy this and the fancy that. It was just the environment, the coach and the girls and atmosphere, that really drew me to the team. And like I said, we came in, the girls on the team, they were already run Olympians. They were already world champions. So I knew that, in order for you to be the best, you want to put yourself with the best. So I knew that South Carolina was the place for me to be.
Were you aware that people like Aileen was there and Chelsea Hammond? Did you
Yeah.
know that they were there before you actually decided that this is a place I want to be?
Well, you see, we came in the same year. We came in the same year. So, I knew Chelsea because Chelsea was from Elmont. And I knew, and I did get to see her interview on your show, and Chelsea was a great runner too. She was good. And so it was really exciting to know that she was going to be coming to South Carolina. And then I was going to have Aileen Bailey, the great Aileen Bailey, another Jamaican on the team. So that was exciting. Like I said, we just had a great set of athletes at South Carolina. So it also made our practices very, very fast.
Jamaicans, yadi come together, as
Yeah.
they would say. But before
Yeah.
we go any further, say something in patois for me. I love this part.
You know what? Everybody always wants somebody to speak patois. It's so funny because, when I was little, my mom, she would always say, "Don't speak like that. No, don't speak like that. She don't want to speak patois." And I would always just come around and just say something just to, to get at her. And but she'd never like me to speak patois. But then it's like, but mommy don't really speak too right. You know what I mean? Her English was getting better as she's been there, but it was something that she always said. So, I don't know.
Just
How you
tell me
want me?
something in patois,
How you want
anything.
anything? I mean, like, I don't know. What can I say? I wear a little bit
All
of
right,
this and a little bit of that.
let me tell you something to say. Say
Very good.
wagwan.
Wagwan.
All
So
right.
you so silly. You so silly. You so
You
silly.
got that lot. Before we go any further, guys, if you're just joining us, welcome, welcome. I am here with the wonderful, wonderful two-time Olympian Shevon Stoddart-Nieto is in the building, and I just want to say welcome, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. Welcome, welcome. I just want to say welcome to 1972 Olympian for Jamaica,
Yeah.
Ivan Saunders. Vonnie M is there cheering you on, Shevon. Miss Vilma Charlton is also there, three-time Olympian herself, 1968, 1972, 1976 is in the building. Monica Lewis is also there in the building. Tony P is with us. And Kappa City is also in the building. He's saying, here he's saying, big up Shevon. They are. And he said, one of my favorite athletes indeed. Damian Maxwell is also in the building. He is a part of the Jamaica Masters. Dorothy Scott Genius is also here with us, formerly of Veer Technical High School, 1976 and no, sorry, 1980 and 1984 Olympian. She is. Ethelyn Tate is also here, 1988 Olympian. So you see what you're doing? You're pulling out all these Olympians who are here to support you tonight. So welcome, guys. But let us go back to the woman of the hour, the ever smiling. No, I've had so many of you on, and I am yet to interview a Jamaican who doesn't like to smile. And here we are. We have Lilith Hodges, 1972, 1976, 1980 Olympian herself, formerly of St. Mary High School over there in St. Mary, and Hosian Webb, I hope I got that right, is also here saying hello, and they're all here to see you, Shevon. But let us go back to your college team.
Yes.
You had familiar faces on your college team, in the likes of Aileen and Chelsea. You also had them on Olympic teams. How much motivation did you get from just having the same teammates at different levels in your career?
I mean, it is definitely a great, to have to one just make multiple teams, and knowing that, when I made my first team, to have, Aileen in there, and to come back again, and you have them there, and Chelsea, and all the Olympians that I was able to be with. It's a great feeling, because it's like a family. We get together, we know who we are, and as we go through different championships that blessed to have made, and see the younger ones coming up. Remember when I was on the team and Shelly made her first team, and you look back at those pictures, and when Bolt was young. It's great, and it's a family, and we see how each other grow throughout the sports, and luckily, fortunately, that they can have long careers in the sport. So yeah, no, it's a family.
Indeed, indeed. You made your first Olympic team
Yes,
2004.
yes,
2004 was a big year
yeah,
for Jamaica. We roll out the team rollout, and we came back with
yeah,
glory, creating history
yeah.
and all of that. Share your memories from your first Olympic team and knowing that Jamaica created history. Of course, Veronica Campbell Brown had all of us back in Jamaica crying when she won that
Yeah,
200
yeah,
meters and the
yeah,
anthem, was
yeah,
playing.
yeah,
We stood at attention, and we
yeah.
were very emotional. Tell me a
Mm.
little bit about that experience for you.
That experience, was just amazing. Just making that team. Like I said, when I was in ninth grade, I said that I was going to, make the Olympics. And even in New York, they had newspapers from 2000. I have that says these are the athletes that were more likely that are aiming for 2004 Olympics. 4 years before. So, just to make it was just that is your dream come true. But just even coming into Jamaica, this was my first team that I was coming out for, first time going down, to try out for any team. And just even that year, because as I was in South Carolina my freshman year, I had a great freshman year. My sophomore year, they gave us the flu shot. A lot of times people, they see the athletes and they see you run, but they really don't know what goes on behind the stage, and why you saw that person, why you didn't, or what happened. So that's why I'm happy to be here so that I can explain all those things to you, so you guys get to see what really goes on in the background for athletes. But I got the flu shot. They gave us a flu shot my sophomore year, and it really made me really sick, and I lost a lot of weight, and it really took me a long time to get back my sophomore year. Then my junior year came, and that was the Olympic year, and I said, okay, this is my opportunity to make the team. So then I got up in the morning because I said this is the year, and I don't like to wake up early. But there was a field right across from my room, my dorm room, and I'd get up like 3 times in the morning. I get up early and I just work on my technique and just do a little run and do a little something. And at nighttime, about 3 times in the nighttime, I would be there with some of my teammates, and I would run in the sports center, just get on the treadmill, and I do some extra work because I said I was going to make it. I was going to come back after that sophomore year. And I don't even remember much about that year, except I knew I was going to make that team. That's the only thing that I knew. I knew that I had to run the A standard. Okay. And I knew that I had to get top three. And I knew that when I came down to Jamaica, I already know that we have the great Debbie and Paris and all the great Olympians that are already there that's going to fight for that top three spots. So, I was definitely ready. And when I came down, to Jamaica, it was just great too because I had my family there. So that was also exciting for me to know that, when I represent Jamaica, I was going to be coming down and my family could see me. And I remember being there at that time, and I had a friend. Actually, I was dating somebody at the time, which is also a 400 hurdler, a top 400 hurdler at the time. And they came down to see me compete at my trials. And I ran my first round, and I think I ran like the second or third fastest time for sure, coming back to the finals. So when the next day came, when the finals came, when I got to the track, I was feeling good. I knew I had to have a good lane, and I warm up, I was feeling good. And then I got a call from my friend. I got a call, when I was in the warm up, and they say, "Hey, Siobhan, how you doing?" I said, "I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I got my Donnie McClurkling on in my ears. I got my gospel, songs ready." And then he said, "Okay, well, I just want you to know that you have lane one."
Oh,
And literally I could feel it,
wow.
So when he said that, it was like my heart just dropped
Oh,
instantly. But then I just picked it up because I said, wait a minute, no, 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 no. I've had this has been in my heart since I was in ninth grade young, and nothing was gonna stop me. So, you know, I said, okay. So I was like, okay. Because I just felt like, I shouldn't have had lane one. But
mm-hmm.
I said, I was new, so I guess, they gave me lane one. So I said, okay.
How did that make you feel? How did that mess with your that mental place that you were? How did that impact you?
You know what? Maybe it should have happened. Because the thing is, when they told me I was in lane one, like I said, my heart dropped, but then I came and I was very like, okay, it gave me that fire even more. Just, I already knew, but this was kind of like, oh, okay, I'm in lane one. Nothing was I was already locked in, so maybe that needed to happen. We always want,
Wow.
maybe that was that lane to show that you deserve to be on this team. So I just remember walking to the starting blocks, and usually you take about 23 steps to the first hurdle. Okay. And when that gun went off, I took about five. That lets you know, like, I was gone. And I got out, and even when I came off the eighth hurdle, I was in the lead. I mean, because I was running. There was no break. They was just go. And I came off the eighth hurdle, and even the announcer was like, "And she is running for her life." I mean, and I was gonna run, and I was out front. I was coming because I know they was gonna come. You know what I mean? I know they was gonna come. And we got to the line, and I just leaned across the line, and we felt because they came right then. I leaned across the line and I said, okay, I'm in the top three. I'm in the top three. And I sat there because we're on the ground. I sat there and we're waiting, looking at the clock because it has to be a fast race. It has to be. I have to make the standard. That was important. And then when it came up and they said, boom, top three, I hit the A standard. And then I knew I did it.
Woo!
I did it. And that feeling was everything because it was your dream. It was a dream that you have as a little girl saying, this is what I'm gonna do. And it's not like coming in, I was the top in the country or in the world. It wasn't like that. I had a goal and I had a dream, and that wasn't going to stop me. And so no matter what position in life, don't ever let anything count you out, when when that's embedded in your heart, and that's what happened. So I was on that team with Debbie Ann Paris and Patricia Allen, and those were my other teammates. So I did it that
What
time.
a story. What an amazing story. What an amazing story this is. And you remember it. It's like you almost remember it step by step. You even remember that phone call that you got. Were you upset with the person that called you to tell you that you got lane one? Were you mad?
No, 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 no. No, I wasn't mad at all. This was someone that came down. They did a surprise visit for me. And no, I wasn't mad. I was just, when they told me you have lane one, as a lot of people know, if they don't know, it's not the lane that you want because you run the most turn out of everybody else. So it is not, it's a tight lane as well. So it's
Wow.
not the preferred lane.
This is, you are truly inspirational, and that's what capacity is saying. It's Owie. He's saying it's Owie, Shevon, and he's saying that you are inspirational, and that is so true. I'm listening to you and I am inspired because, as you said, the time that you had, you should not have gone to lane one,
Mm, mm.
but you ended up in lane one and you made it work.
I did. I
You
did.
made it work and you ran. I love to hear when our commentator says she is running
Oh.
for her life, the race of her life. Let us
Yeah.
look at some of your achievements before we go further. You're a graduate of the University of South Carolina,
Yeah.
two-time Olympian, 2004, 2008 at the 400-meter hurdles,
Mhm.
2005, 2015 World Championship representative. You've gone to the Commonwealth Games for Jamaica in 2006. 2006, you also won a silver medal for Jamaica at the CAC Games. 2004 NACAC under 23, you won gold and silver for Jamaica. I don't know if you remember those accomplishments, but but you actually did that. Just looking at some of your achievements, you have a personal best of 54.57 in
Oh,
the four.
54.47.
Right, 54.47 that you achieved 2005. You are the face, or you were the face of Puma, and I can see why. You're an actor. You've been in
Yeah.
a television series called In the Cut, and you'll have to
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that. You're
Yeah.
also a singer. You participated in the Art of the Olympians. You'll have to tell us what that is. You
Yeah.
also appear on the America Got Talent.
Yeah.
But before we even get to that, 2004 NACAC under 23, you won gold and silver for yourself and your country. You were also, that was also an Olympic year. How did this achievement help you going into 2004? I mean, you did a miraculous thing from lane one, but how did this accomplishment helped you boost your confidence going into the Jamaican trials?
The performance in 2004.
Yes, at the
Yes.
knockout under 23.
Oh, well, just, even just going, making that team in 2004. When you do that, when you make an Olympic team, and we're not just talking about anybody's Olympic team, we're talking about Jamaica's Olympic team. And we already know how great our athletes are and that accomplishment. Once you do that, you feel like you can do anything. You feel like, okay, if it's gonna come back up again, that you're gonna do it. And the thing about, even with 2004, and making those other teams in 2004, when I was able to represent Jamaica in those games after the under 23, and going on into and representing our country at first, to put on the uniform, to put on the Jamaican uniform, is special. It's a special thing, and I'm just so proud that I'm able to represent my country. When we get out there, we train and we do the best that we can, and we appreciate all the support that we get when we travel all around the world. When we see the Jamaican flags of all the people around the world, and then Jamaicans coming out supporting us, it means so much. And that year going into the Olympics, that was my first Olympic Games, and I remember coming into that trial. So um, I was at South Carolina with some powerhouse athletes. I mean, Alashinda Demas, she has a gold medal in the 400 hurdles, and Tiffany Ross. We had a great team, and I remember going in. I was like, I said to my coach, I said, well, they're going left, 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 and left, left. Like, it's like they had their stride pattern down, and I felt like, well, I don't. You know what I mean? I'm 5'5". I'm really little, and I was like, Coach, I'm going right, right, left, left, right, right. Should I not be doing something different? And I remember that I was, my coach Brown at the time, Kevin Brown at South Carolina. I was like, Coach, to help me get my stepping down. Well, when I went to Jamaica, my steps were down because I was running through those hurdles. And then when I went on to Athens Olympic Games, which was just there, seeing all the athletes there from all the countries, was just amazing to know that you're on that stage to compete amongst the best in the world. But I just wanted to share with you, so that you know that, on that championship, I was at practice before my round at the Olympics, and I was doing some, going over the hurdles, the first five hurdles, and I ended up falling over one of the hurdles. But I fell and I got up so fast because I was moving so fast through those hurdles, and I was ready. And even when I fell, it really didn't matter. But a couple hours later, my hip was really sore,
Ooh.
and I then couldn't really move it much. And at that time, I was very sad. My mother's came. I was very sad because I knew that I wasn't going to be at my very best, going into that, my first round. And I wanted to make sure that I shared that, because, just even through my career, I've been able to make my teams, and represent Jamaica at the best that I can. But, like I said to you, that, many other fans, when they see you training, they don't always know what happened to individuals at some of the games. And when it came to the championship, it was always something. It was always something, because that first Olympic Games, the 24, I did hurt my hip before, but I still competed. And making the 2008 Olympic team, there was something else. And, and then, even with that, there was, as we can talk later, but there's something else. But, all those experiences that we take, throughout our career. I coach now here in South Pasadena. I live in
Wow.
California. Yeah, I live in California right now, and I coach. I've coached since 2012, and even while I was competing. And that was always a special thing for me to do, is to give back to the young athletes, and to take, everything that I learned along the way, and the mistakes that I may have made along the way, so that I can help the youth not to make those mistakes and better prepare them from the road to come. So I coach them and I use all the experiences that I've had on the track to share with them. So I wanted to share that with you.
And I'm happy that you did that, because many times fans, including myself, I don't do it anymore,
Yeah.
but we will have a certain expectation of
Mm.
our athlete, and then when they underperform,
Yeah. Yeah.
we are upset with them, not
Yeah.
knowing that things can happen.
Yeah.
And I was at the 2022 World Championship in Eugene,
Mhm.
and Hanson Parchment was looking so
Yeah.
good. He was ready. And
Yeah.
when they came out for the final, he was
Yeah.
just doing his usual
Yes.
routine. And he
Mm-hmm.
went over the
Mm-hmm.
hurdles and he
Yeah.
could not
I remember that.
compete. So
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
know that even on the day in
Mm-hmm.
the race,
Yeah.
something can happen. So I'm very,
Yeah.
very happy that you've said that and you've made it clear. But 2008, as you said, you
Yeah.
were back on another Olympic team with your
Mm-hmm.
college teammates.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you were on a team 2004 that created history in
Yeah.
Athens.
Yeah.
And you came back 4 years later,
Yeah.
you were on another team that
Yes.
created some bigger history,
Yes.
with Veronica becoming the
Yeah.
second woman to
Mm-hmm.
win the 200 meters at the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
Jamaica winning the 100-meter for the first time. For
Yeah.
the men, Jamaica winning the 100-meter for the first time with the women.
Yes.
And we just kept going. Share
Yeah.
your memories of, just being in Beijing, being on this team with all these history makers,
Yeah.
Usain Bolt, Shelley and Melaine Walker, Veronica,
Yeah.
Sharon Simpson, Karen Stewart, and the
Yeah.
list goes on.
Yes.
Chelsea
Yeah.
Hammond
Yes.
winning that bronze medal. Tell
Yeah.
me a little bit about you being there.
Well, I mean, just being there, like I said, I think we knew that the 2008 was going to be a great year for us leading into that Olympic Games. That was a great year for me coming in because I was coming into the Olympic Games ranked top 10 in the world. It was a great year for me. After 2004, I changed from my college program in 2005 to move to California. So I moved to California after I graduated in 2005, and I was training in the group with Felix Sanchez and his coach. And these are just things that as you are athlete and you're training and you're going is what kind of program are you going into and does it fit the best for you? And I remember being in that training program, and I said 2007 was coming, and I said, okay, well, I gotta make some changes right now because the next Olympics is coming and I gotta be ready. And it's that mindset, like I told you before, like when you make one, you feel like I can do it again. And no matter how that road look in between as you're coming back up, it was like, okay, now is the time. And I switched coaches. I was still in California. I trained underneath Larry Wade, in here in Pasadena. And um you know uh that was a great year for me on the track. Interesting year, but I'm not going to get into all of that.
I would love to hear some of it, but that's fine.
I'm not gonna get into all of that. But like I said, there was always things going on, in the background that sometimes the fans don't really understand, and how tough it is. And just making sure that one thing I knew is that no matter what my training was looking like, no matter what the situation that was going on around me, I knew that I had a team to make, and that's what I was going to do. Going into 2008, making that once again, along with my teammates Chelsea, and along with my teammates that I had before, South Carolina, we were always on the map, which was one of the great things about our college. We just had so many Olympians and world champions that came out of South Carolina. But being there at the Olympic Games, I mean, one of the things that I remember is sitting at the in the stands around the turn on the 4x1 when Usain ran, and let me tell you, that he was moving. I mean, he was moving, and I just remember just like, wow, like it was so exciting, and the accomplishments of our our teammates, and you was definitely proud to be Jamaican. At that moment, it was a special moment, um and it was just amazing to be a part of. And it's even better in person, because if you think they look fast on TV, just sit down in the stands, and so the next Olympics 2028, if anybody hasn't gone, then you should go.
I
But
totally agree.
but no, it's a great accomplishment, and it really changed the course. We were number one. We were the best team out there. We always have been, but we had some amazing performances there. Absolutely.
Indeed, indeed. Welcome, Alicia. Alicia is saying that's why we really need to appreciate our athletes who go out and represent our country. And I am for that 100%. Carrie Ann Phillips is here. Good night to you. Marlene Green is saying good evening. They're all here for you. Guys, if you're just joining, I am here with Shevon Stoddart. Nato. I'm trying
Nieto.
Nato. I'm trying
Yes,
to
yes.
get the
No
correct
worries. Yes.
pronunciation. She is
Mhm.
in the building with us tonight, and of course, we're learning about her. But Siobhan, going back to 2012, 2012, you were getting ready
Oh, yes.
for the Olympic Games and stuff. You finished fourth at the trials. This now was in London. You finished fourth at the trials, and maybe you thought that, oh, I would not be in London, but you turn up in London as a superstar. But before we get to that superstar part, how did you feel at the trials when you realized that you were fourth?
So, after the 2008 Olympics, I moved from California to Atlanta, and I moved there to train with a new coach, Nat Page. And maybe maybe about 3 or 4 months in, I normally take my arches, just to give you a little arch, something. There was no issue with my arches. And then, somebody recommended me to go to, a doctor. Maybe they can make some orthotics for me so I don't have to tape my arches, which I said, okay. And they gave me some temporary orthotics. And literally, when I went out to practice, I was running some repeat 200s, and I felt a pain, an excruciating pain in my ankle. And it felt really, really bad. So I took some time off at that point, and I came back, and I still felt the pain. And at that time, then I said, okay, let me go back to New York and just go away a little bit so I can give it some time off, and I work run on the mat and stuff. And I came back, and my ankle was still, not ready. And this was a tough time for me, because when I came back off of the 2008 season, which was a great season for me, I was ranked top 10 in the world. And I was running very, very fast. Sometimes they don't really understand how fast. I'm very, very fast, and sometimes people don't know. And I'm going to tell you, because I have a couple plaques on my wall, but one of the plaques that I keep on my wall is my 200. And it was when I was in South Carolina. I'm going to bring you back. Um, because of my plaques. I told my coach, Coach Fire, you gotta put me in the deuce. You gotta put me in the deuce. I wanna run the two. Because I'm running the hurdles. He's like, okay, okay, okay. Well, I was in the morning, like I told you before, I'd get up early, I work on my little technique and whatever. And I told him, I said, I'm ready. I'm ready to run the two. So they put me in the two. I think it as our conference championship. It was indoors. And I ran my first 200 then, and I clocked 23.5, which was just as fast as all the other sprinters that was running on our team. And me, little old 400, I put my hands up in the air, and I was like, yes. So then I became all American in the 200. So I put my plaque there. But and and I've run the 200, 22.5 at practice. It takes a lot to be a 400 hurdler. You have to be fast, you can hurdle, and you have strength. Well, anyway, um I came to Atlanta and I was running very fast. I was doing great. My training was going great. I was looking forward to having a great season. And then that ankle issue happened. And it took me, it 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 really messed up my season. And I ran my next season. I ran a race and I said I have to come back. I gotta come back home and I gotta move. So I moved back to California at this time. I moved back because I said, okay, I have to do something. And during this time when I couldn't run, actually, I said, okay, well, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Because my ankle is hurt. I'm not able to train. I have to get myself back. This is not gonna be good for my sponsor. And then I get a call then, and they say, hey, Siobhan, we want you to we want you to be the face for Puma. And
Ooh.
I was like, what?
Tell, tell, tell us about that.
You know, um, like I said, God works in mysterious ways. And at that point when that happened, I was so low, and sad to know that my ankle happened and nothing was wrong, and this happened. And as an athlete, you also have to, you know you have to be concerned about your sponsorship, because if you get a flu or you get sick or you have a bad season or something, you can get dropped from your sponsor. You can get cut from your sponsor. And athletes always think about that, and they know that. So when this happened, I was like, oh man. I was like, okay, well, I'm not running. Let me see, what can I do for my sponsor? And obviously, everybody knew me on the team as the singer. And they knew me as a singer because every time when I make the championships as well, I always sang a song, at the team. We had our team dinners, and I always sing for the team. They call me singer, and they'd always say, Siobhan, why you running? Why you don't just go and sing? Because you're too
Go
good.
in the studio, right?
Yeah, so I would laugh. I said, you know what, I can always sing, but I won't be fast forever. So I said, I'm gonna do this, right now. But at that time I said, you know what, let me write a song for Puma. And I wrote this song, and it was called Go. Okay, and it's the song that, if anybody heard the advertisement that you heard that said, shout and just watch me go. I
Is that
wrote
the
this
song
song.
that I have?
Yes, that is the song that you have. And
All
I
right.
wrote it for I wrote it for Puma.
We're going to give them a little piece. Should I give them a
Okay.
little?
Yes, 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 yes.
All right. Let me see.
Oh no, no, that's not the one. That's not the one. Not that one. No, not that. No, we're not there yet. we're not we're not
Wrong
there yet.
song.
Wrong song.
Wrong
So
song, guys. Let us go back to the face
go.
of Puma.
Yes, yes. So I wrote a song for them called Go, and it was great because at that time, I performed in Boston where the headquarters is, and different events and speaking and singing. And Bolt was there, and we had a lot of fun. And I was really thankful that I could, you know, represent the sponsor on the other side even while I was hurt. And then to get the call from them saying that we want you to be, the face of Puma. To me, I was just like, that was just a blessing. That was just a blessing. And we did all the ads, for that you see in the pictures that you're showing with me and you
Mhm.
saying, and those. And like I said, it was just a blessing that I can give back in another way,
What was it
and
like
using my
working
time.
with Usain on this project?
Oh, it was great, Usain, like I said, being on our first team in 2004, and Usain was a baby at that time, so I've known him, going up. And we always have fun. We always have fun. Like I said, we're like a family. So it was fun when we were performing and he was coming with me. And it was fun. It was fun.
Awesome.
It was really fun. So yeah, so I was able to do all those ads, which was a blessing. So I was coming back off of that injury. I moved back to California, and then the 2000 12 team came, and I got fourth. And one of the things too, as an athlete, I don't know, but for myself, when you're competing, and say when I did get hurt in the 2008, it hurt. But the thing is, just with my faith, I had to be thankful to God that I was in that position, that everything that I've done to be here, I'm just so grateful for. And even though it did not work out, the way I intended it to be, I never wanted to be sad about it. So I just moved on, because I had just had to be grateful, for the accomplishments that I have. Because the thing is, if you can always dwell on things that don't go your way,
Indeed.
but I did not allow that, and that helps you to move forward, but always giving God the glory. So when I didn't make that team, I got fourth because I was not fully back yet. um and I got that call 1 week later, because I was going to Jamaica that's 2012. So 2012, I met my now husband, Jamie. He was my boy. I met him in 2012. So Jamie was already on his way. I think they had their trials. He was going to London. So I wanted to be in London too. I mean, I just
Of
wanted to be in
course, of
London.
course.
Anyway. So when I did got fourth at the trials, a week later, I got that call, and a promoter in London called and said, "Hey, Shevon, are you coming to London?" I told him what happened. They said, "Well, I want you to come. We want you to come and perform." And I was just like, "What?" And I was so happy, because it's just like one door closes and the next door opens. And
Indeed.
I was in London. It's like I knew I was going to be in London, but I didn't know I was going to be on the other track. And I got there. I remember calling Puma. They were so happy. And, I'd be performing, and, I had all my Jamaica gear, and it was so fun, because when I got to London, I went into the village, and I went by our Jamaica house to say hi to all the athletes. And they were like, "Shimon, what are you doing here?" And it's like, "I'm singing." It's like, "What?" So it was so good to be there, and say hi to my teammates, and still be there representing, Jamaica. And my teammates were so happy, and they came out to watch me perform, and just being there. It was just an absolute blessing. And I was just very thankful for it. And it was different, and it was special, because I wasn't on the track, but I was using my other talent. And I'm gonna tell you, I really didn't miss being on the track 1 minute at that point. I didn't.
Superstar.
Yeah, so yeah, till 2012, that was great. I went there, and I also started dating the love of my life, Jamie.
Who we're going to talk about in a little bit. But you were also given an award
Hmm.
by the IOC, was?
It was by the president of the Olympic Committee.
Wow.
And yes.
Tell me a little bit about that award.
Oh, so that award came after my performance on the America's Got Talent. And
Okay.
I know we're going to discuss it
Mm-hmm.
here. Um so that was a very special award that I got from him. And I wish I had the letter right here so I can read it to you. But it was award, you know because as an Olympic athlete, it's not always about winning on the track. It's your dedication, your passion, and how you carry yourself, your commitment to the sport, and how it inspires other people. And that has always been so important to me. When I get on the track or anything that I do, I'm always thinking about you. I'm thinking about my country. I'm thinking about my schools. I'm thinking about, being that representative, so that someone has someone great to look up to. Someone has someone that says, "Wow, look at all the things they were able to achieve, or they didn't limit themselves, or how they were able to do it." So I was always thankful for that. So when I got that award, it meant so much to me, because I know we're going to talk about it. When Jamie got hurt,
Yeah. Take a moment. It's okay. Take a moment. That's fine. That's fine. Take a moment. Take a moment. Guys, if you're just joining us, I am here with Shevon. And of course, she's letting us in a little bit. Born in Jamaica, but she was raised in the United States, high school, university, and the whole works. Two-time Olympian,
Mhm.
2004, 2008. And we're going to talk about something that we're going to segue in a little bit that is very, very emotional for her. So, I just want you guys to bear with us as we go through this. But before we get to that part, Siobhan, you are the kind of athlete
I
that
I have to
sponsor.
show it to you. I wanted
I
to
was
make
just
sure
about to
that
ask.
I showed it to you.
That's your award?
Yes.
Wow, awesome, awesome, awesome. Wow. That's awesome, guys. So that is her award from the IOC president at the time for being exceptional. And as she said earlier, just now, it's not just about what you do on the track. And this is something I try to tell young athletes. You have to have that character. You must be able to do something more than what you are doing for your talent. So you, Siobhan, is you're the type of athlete that sponsors love. You act, you sing, you can dance, you can do the whole work. And of course, we are going to talk about America Got Talent. How did you get on that show?
Yeah, so America's Got Talent, after my boyfriend, so Jamie had his accident in 2016. And when he had his accident, he had a jumping accident. He's a two-time Olympian for the USA in the high jump. And he was jumping one day at practice and he landed on his head. And at that point, he was paralyzed from the chest down. And I got that call that day. I think I was at the chiropractor just getting adjusted and getting worked on from after my training. And I got a call from one of his athletes that he was training at the time, and they said that Jamie had just gotten an accident and it's really bad, and that they're airlifting him to the hospital, and you have to you got to come now. So I knew that when he said at that moment that he was getting airlifted to the hospital, that I knew that it was going to be bad. So as I drove to the hospital, I I was praying. I was praying to God that Jamie would be okay, that he would be okay. And I think that was the time when there were tears. But the moment I got to the hotel, that not the hotel, the hospital, I knew that once I walked into that room that I had to be strong for Jamie. And I walked into that room and Jamie was laying there, and he just kept saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. But I said, no, 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 don't say that. He was there, he could no longer feel from the chest down. He had his surgery, and the doctors had said that he was paralyzed from the chest down, and that he would barely be able to feed himself. So at that time, the chances of him walking was not there. But I know, and Jamie felt, we said, no, 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 no. He's gonna walk. He's gonna walk. And that at not one moment did I think that that wasn't going to happen. I knew that at that time that I was used to challenges. I mean, I'm a 400 hurdler. I'm used to going through barriers, and I knew that this was going to be one that I was going to get through, that he was going to get through and be successful. So, that happened. And, that at that time, I, I, I stopped running. That was it. I
Before
stopped
we
running.
before we even get to that, when you retired,
Mhm.
when you got that call that day, can you remember what was going through your mind as you travel to that hospital? How were you feeling? Your real emotions
Mhm.
How were you feeling? What was going through your mind as you traveled to the hospital?
I was just praying. I was just praying. I was praying. I was praying. I was praying to God. I was just praying to God the whole time, praying to God that Jamie would be okay, that he would be okay. Um, this had to be in God's hands, you know. So I just stayed prayerful, prayerful, and I was just praying. I was praying. I was praying that he would be okay, that he would be okay. And like I said, even at that time, you know, there were tears then, but I knew that once I walked into that room, that, you know, I was going to be strong for Jamie. And honestly, I really didn't even really I didn't even really cry much throughout that time after that at all, because, you know, I just didn't want to. You know, I wanted to just be there and be strong. So sometimes when I get to speak to you and share that story, it's probably some of the first times that I really, you know, get to talk about those things. And it definitely feels fresh, you know, just like I said in 2008, or, you know, when I, you know, was on top of the world, having a great season, when I did not, when I got hurt and wasn't able to even run my best there, that was hurtful. But I said I had to trust in God. And I said, and I'm going to be thankful for everything I've been. I will not dwell on that negativity or anything like that that will, you know, make you sad. So when this happened, I knew that I had to be strong, and I knew that I knew my God. So I said no. So if any kind, I say, we got work to do. I didn't have time to do that, you know, but
Wow.
straight stay, you know, trusting in the Lord.
That is just amazing. This is a unique story, and as Howie's saying, you're one of the most amazing human being. Of course, JM Roots is saying, take your time, Chevon. Marlene Green is saying, Zara Northova is also in the building. She's saying, hot girl on the screen. I totally agree. So I'm glad that she could put a smile on your face. But every athletes do face, and this is what I've always said, that we have to be kind with our words, because athletes are navigating life the same way we are, and athletes have their setbacks. Of course, you've had yours, but with you there are no limits. What kept you grounded and motivated when life throw test your limit? What kept you going?
Oh, God. You know, that is my strength, you know. And in the times where we are our hardest time, that is our time where we test our faith and in him. You know, when those hard times hit, that is your time to say, okay, you know, I'm here for you. And I knew that. I knew that. And as those years, because that happened in 2016,
Mhm.
and this person we were dating since 2012. And you know, those years, it was just like, he's going to get back up, he's going to get back up. And he's now walking, you know, with forearm crutches, you know, around his arm. He's up on his legs, and he's back acting, and he's doing those things. But the thing is, when his accident happened, all my dreams, everything that I thought I was going to do at that time was no longer there. I had stopped running. I wanted to sing. I didn't see that there. The only thing I knew is that I love this person, and I didn't know how long it was going to take for him to get back up, but I knew that I was going to do that. So after and throughout this journey, as he's going, you know, songs and things are coming to my head, you know, like strong enough, you know, I'm still standing, different songs with those kind of titles. And it was around 2018, like about 2 years later or so, 2 years or so later, Jamie was like, you know, Siobhan, you should get back into the studio. And I was just like, you think? And he was like, you should. So I look for a producer, we look for a producer so that I can, you know, record these songs that were going on in my head. And I record the songs, but I wanted to make a special song for Jamie, which was called Through the Good and the Bad. And Jamie produced a video for it, because even with Jamie, he couldn't move his hands, and I said, but you're gonna get out of this, and you're gonna do everything that you said that you wanted to do after this. Nothing was gonna stop you. So he put together my music video, Through the Good and the Bad, and 1 month later, I got a message from America's Got Talent, saying, "Hey, that we saw your music video, and we would like you to be on season 15, to be on the show." And
Wow.
I at that point, I was just like, I was so surprised, I was so shocked, and I was just so thankful to God because of everything that we had been through, for him to bring me back to this stage of singing at that high level. It was amazing. It was amazing to share my talent that I had, since I was 8, my first, when I stopped and didn't even see that coming, and then see that was God that put that there.
Let us
Yeah.
talk about America's Got Talent a little bit. How was it for you? Should we show them this? Should we show them a little clip now while
Yeah,
we talk about that? All
yeah.
right, guys, I'm just going to show you a little piece of this. And of course, Shevon is going to tell us about her
Yes.
experience, what it was like for her coming back out after everything that changed her life within a split second in 2016. So let us take a look at this.
Oh, oh, that's a different performance. That's a different performance.
Cause I'm the new girl on the scene. Cause I'm the new girl on the scene. So you better make a way. I'm rocking from the top to the bottom. You're so clean. I look just like a model. You can all just look at me.
So tell us a little bit about, I know this is a different performance. I could not show the other one because I'm not sure if I have rights to that one. But tell us a little bit about America's Got Talent, what
Yeah.
it did for you after your life, drastically changed the way it did.
Oh well, it was amazing, and just being on that stage, and Simon, because people always ask me about Simon, but Simon was the sweetest person ever.
He
He was
was?
he was he
Oh,
was he,
wow.
he was so sweet, and he was so nice. My experience, with Terry Crews, and everything was amazing. I think it's maybe because when I got on the stage, I was just smiling. I was so happy to be there, and he was great, and all the judges that were there, just an amazing experience. Our that episode got over 72 million views, and it is one of their top episodes, and it was it was great. The thing, even when I did that episode, because that's when I revealed that that we were having a baby, because Jamie and I, we got married in 2017, and at the show at that time on America's Got Talent, I was 4 months pregnant, but you couldn't tell because I had the best dress on, and you couldn't see my stomach. And after I performed the song Through the Good and the Bad, which was a song that I wrote for Jamie, I walked off and then told Terry Crews, like, guess what? We're having a baby. And what happened with that show, the next day after my performance, and my performance can be seen on my YouTube channel, which is Shevon Music. Go to Shevon Music. You'll be able to see my videos, and the full performance is there, so you guys can all check it out. My hair is different. It's not like this. It's short, but and I'm in blue. But yes, no. The next day was the LA shutdown. COVID hit, and everything shut down. And at that point, I'm 4 months pregnant, and they were trying to see how they can continue the show, and they did, but they were like, it wasn't the same way as before. But I was pregnant, and there was no way that people were dying. There's no way I was gonna put myself in that situation, with the baby. So they understood, my choice to not, continue on with me being pregnant. So that's what happened with the show. I call that my AGT family, and people always ask me, "Well, are you going back?" So I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure.
Guys, she is not just a singer. This girl is even in acting. How did you get into acting? Tell us a little bit about that TV series
Oh yeah.
in the cut.
Oh yeah. So that year 2020, that was the year I was on America's Got Talent. There was just a lot going on at that time. I ended up Jamie booked a TV show called Away, which is on Netflix, starring Hilary Swank and Josh Charles. He filmed that. I'm actually in that TV show. I come in at the end of that TV show, so it's called Away. So if you guys have Netflix, you should check it out. And then after that, I booked a show. Jamie, he's a writer, and he works out here with Bentley Evans, and he's produced some of your great, the Martin Show, Jamie Foxx Show, a lot of the Black entertainment shows that come to Hollywood. And there was a TV show, and Jamie said, Siobhan, I think you should audition. I think you should audition for this role because the character's name is Siobhan. And
Wow.
I said, okay. So I was like, okay. So I auditioned for the role, and I got it. So that year I was able to be on that TV show, as well as, well, actually it was on two TV shows, and along with America's Got Talent, and also Black Love. There's the on the OWN network. We were on the Black Love show there. So I mean, these were just nothing but God's great opportunities, just blessing, Jamie and I at this time, and we're just so thankful for it.
Your story is very, very inspirational. Not even COVID could stop you, but I want to go back to your wedding day a little bit.
Yeah,
In 2017,
yeah,
Jamie was determined to walk down the aisle.
yes.
He was determined to walk down the aisle for his wedding day, and he did that while it was being televised on networks,
Yeah, yeah,
NBC,
yeah.
ESPN, and other networks. And he walked down. I want you to tell me, maybe you would not have been there to see it because you would have been in a back room waiting to come
Yeah,
out as the
yeah.
bride. But I want you to tell me how you felt. But before we go there, I want to show this, how determined this man was to walk on his wedding day. Let us take a look, guys. Siobhan, when you saw this video, just take us back to that day. Take your time, because I'm over here getting very teary myself. Just watching that video. When you sent me that video and I watched it at first, it is amazing. And as Zara is saying, Zara Northover is saying, Siobhan's story reminds us of what happens when we are obedient to God's word. He will bless you exceedingly and abundantly. When you saw this video after, because as I said before, you would have been in a room in the back getting ready to come out. What went through your mind? Just take us back to those emotions on that day, 2017.
Yes. Well, leading up to that day, Jamie, as Jamie was recovering and trying to be able to walk because he was not able to take any steps, I was like, you know what? I think we need to give him a date because he proposed, and I said yes, and I said we're gonna get married, but we didn't have a date, and I knew he wanted to. He said I'm gonna walk you down the date, and he was getting ready, but then I said, you know what? You need a date, because athletes, we need to prepare for something, right? I said, okay, well, we got to get married like this time, and it wasn't like I gave him a lot of time. It was like, okay, we're gonna get married in July of next year. And at that time, I remember going to his therapy session, and it was like April, and Jamie wasn't really taking any steps yet, and I was thinking like, okay, it's April, is he going to be able to do it? And then I remember going to one of his therapy sessions, and Jamie took 12 steps. He was like, I remember his steps. I remember from when he took 3 steps until he did 12 steps. And I was like, okay, I'm looking at the clock, and we timed everything in this journey. Just so you know, as athletes we are, I timed how long it took him from getting to the house to the car, which took him 45 minutes, just so you know, to get from the door to the car. And it wasn't at 4 or 2, but that went down to 5 minutes. We timed, we did everything, like the athletes that we are. And in April, when he was able to take the 12 steps, it was like, then he kept taking a little bit more, and I was like, okay, I think it's going to take you about 150 steps or so to get, to the altar. I think you're going to need to take that steps. And I just remember he was trying, and he was trying, and he was trying. So that day I knew, I said, okay, he was ready. He was ready. And just looking at the video, Jamie, if you've known Jamie, anybody who's known Jamie before, just known Jamie's just the nicest person, and he's just a great person. And everybody loves Jamie, and just to see Jamie's fight and determination, you know like the Whitney Houston song, the you're my man, the greatest man, like he is that. I love him so much. I'm so proud of him and his everything that he's done. So thankful to God, for that great blessing. And just that day standing there, which I did sing down the aisle.
I
I did
know.
I did
And
sing.
that is what is coming next.
Yes, I did sing down the aisle, and it was funny because I wasn't gonna sing. I wasn't gonna sing. I was like, I just wanted just to just be in this day. I didn't want to practice. I didn't want to do anything. And then about 2 or 3 days before the wedding, that close, I heard the Celine Dion song, for all the times you stood by me, that one. And I was like, no, I have to sing that song. I was like, this is the perfect song. I have to sing that song. And I remember going to my hairdresser, and I was practicing the song. I was like, I'm gonna sing this song, and I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell my bridesmaid. I didn't tell my mother. I didn't tell anybody. And then it was in the limo as we were going, and my dress, I had the mic and everything up my dress because the ESPN, they were there. They wanted to track Jamie and his journey. And that's when I told, them in the car and my mom that I'm gonna be singing down the aisle. And they were all so excited. They were all so excited. And, when that door opened, and, you know, just walking down the aisle singing to Jamie, it was perfect. It was perfect. And I saw the tear in Jamie's eye as I walked. It was perfect. And us standing there and us walking hand in hand out the church. He did that. We did that. He's up on his feet, and he's walking. They said he would barely be able to feed himself. So that was
Wow.
just God. That was God. And
No limits.
yeah, yeah.
No limits. Take your time. While you were in that room waiting to walk down the aisle, What was
Yeah.
going through your mind while you were there? Were you getting restless? Were you getting anxious? What was going through your mind?
Um, I think at that time when I was going through, I was ready. I was ready, and I had no music, so there was gonna be no music that was gonna cut out and mess up my song because I sang it a cappella. That was one thing. I said no music. And no, I was looking forward to it. I was ready and I was calm, and ready for, this amazing moment, like how I prepare for any of my races, to be calm and be ready for the great moment. And that's what I did.
Let us look at that a little bit.
For all the times you stood on me, for all the truth that you made me see, for all the joy you brought to my life, for all the wrong that you made right, for every dream you made come true, for all the love I found in you, I'll be forever thankful, baby. You're the one who held me up and never let me fall. You're the one who saw me through it all. You were my strength when I was weak. You were my voice when I couldn't speak. You were my eyes when I couldn't see. You saw the best there was in me. You stood by me.
Amazing, Shevon, your story. This is not just an interview about your track and field legacy. We gone all the way down to a totally different place. This is, as Alicia 1010 said, what a love story. A love story indeed. Your life changed overnight, I would say. Your life changed overnight. What was it like for you in that first 24 hours when everything changed? The accident, Jamie in the hospital, you traveling to the hospital, everything. That first 24 hours, what was it like for you?
That first 24 hours, like I said, was filled with a lot of prayer, a lot of prayer. It was only about Jamie and making sure that everything was going to be done to get him back on his feet. That's the only thing that I was thinking of, is praying and being there for Jamie. And at that moment, nothing else did matter. Nothing else mattered.
Wow. You faced some what you would call incredible challenges, getting hurt during warm up for your race,
Oh.
falling over the hurdles, COVID come at the time when you were
Mhm.
just getting back in things.
Yeah.
Jamie got hurt, so many different things.
Yeah.
Where did you find that strength? Where did you find the resilience to keep pushing forward during these tough times? Because, baby, I'm sure it was tough.
Yes, no, it was. It definitely was. And I wouldn't say that it wasn't, training is tough, all the things that we have to do, and this definitely prepared me for this situation, and Jamie for this situation. I always like to say that, even as Olympians, that, Olympians didn't make us. We made the Olympics. you know it was something that all of us said I wanted to achieve. And it was the mindset that we said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go after that. And that just shows you what you can do when you put your mind to anything. And it won't be easy, because life was not set up to be easy. And you will have hurdles. Like, I'm a hurdler, so I'm 400 hurdler. I like to say that's one of the toughest events on the track.
It is.
And you have to hurdle it, and you have to clear it. And that's what I do. And just being an athlete, and just everything that uh I've done in my career, and would like to do, I only would hope that that could only inspire other people to, one, go after their dreams, two, be prayerful. And that should always be number one, honestly, to be prayerful, to go after your dreams, and understand that it will not be easy. It will not be easy, but God is worth all of that. When God is there, He will pull you through. You have all the strength that you need to achieve that. And just be thankful for every day, and your good days and your bad days, like I said, through the good and bad. Be happy, just be thankful for the breath, for the day that you able to just breathe, and be the best that you can, without any fears, and not be pressured by anyone around you to be the best that you can be.
Indeed.
And that's what, I hope that my story can do for my fans and everybody that's tuning in, and that hears our story, that it's love, it's passion, it's from the Lord.
You are not done yet. People, she's not done yet. She and Jamie now. Tell us a little bit about your foundation. This foundation
Well,
that that is founded by you and Jamie,
yes,
helping other athletes
yes,
to get to where they want to go. Tell me a little bit
yes,
about that. How,
yes, yes,
where do you find time to
yes.
do all these things?
Yes. Well, yes, no, we have a foundation. It's called Helping Others Triumph. And the name of it, Helping Others Triumph, is I wanted to have something that I knew that it was who I am, that I will always be doing what it is that I'm doing, which is helping others triumph. So we'll always stay alive, and the foundation is help so that you can donate to give funds in so that we can use that to help people that have been, paralyzed, or have any kind of, disability like that. So if they need to get massages, they need to have treatment because they can't afford treatment, that we can, help them to pay for those sessions. Jamie, when he got hurt, he was able to, thankfully, there was a foundation that was able to take care of at least a year. It was like 6 months at a time to take care of his therapy sessions. And that was just a blessing alone, because in a situation, there was no time period to say, okay, he was going to be back in a year. He's going to be back in this. There wasn't. There was actually that it wasn't going to come back. So, so all that support was just amazing. We received a lot of support from, people all around the world. So, we wanted to be able to do that for other people as well, so they could have more resources like that for other, the more the better.
Wow, giving back. Talk about
Yeah,
giving back.
yeah.
Vonnie M, 1972 Olympian, is saying, your life story is so emotional yet so inspirational. I totally agree. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And this is what they're all saying. Marlene Green is saying, thanks for sharing with us. Very interesting and inspiring interview indeed. Monica Lewis is saying, Shevon, you are an amazing person. Love like this hardly exists these days. I pray that God, eternal peace and love will always be upon you and your family indeed.
Thank you.
You are a singer, an actor, model, raising boys. How do you find time to, what is it like raising boys?
Oh,
Normally I don't go personal, but I
yeah.
have to ask you this question. What is it like raising boys?
Oh, it's amazing. I'm so thankful. I'm happy to be a mommy. I'm happy to be a mommy and enjoying every step of it. I name my boys, their middle name is King and Champion. Okay, because we wanted to give them a name so that they can know who they truly are. That you guys are kings, you guys are champions, you guys are great. So I'm just thankful to have the opportunity to be a mother, to give that guidance to the kids, and just make sure they feel loved and just be another seed of God's love that can, spread with, you know, the people that come along their path. And that's part of the reason too. I have one of my songs that I wrote called "Born to Be a Star," and my little one, he's in that video. And when I wrote the song "Born to Be a Star," I wrote it because I wanted to make sure that if anyone, if you, no one ever told you how special you are and how loved you are, then let this be that song that says that you were born to be a star. And I wrote this song knowing that this is how I wanted, my child to feel, and that I'd have that blessing to, be able to do that. So I got the video, so you guys can go on my page, Shevon Music on YouTube, and it's called "Born to Be a Star."
Wow, I'm definitely going to check that out. But before we get into our next section, which will be a game, I have a game for you. But before we get to that, is there anything else about your story that I did not touch on that you want to share with us? If there's nothing else, it's fine. But if there's anything else that I did not touch on and you want to share it
Uh,
with us.
oh yes, I just like to say that I was just representing Jamaica was just so important to me, and just being on your show tonight is very important, to me. Um, it's important because it's where I'm from, and the thing is that you never know where life is gonna take you, but you never can forget where you come from, no matter where life takes you. And Jamaica is where I was born. I will never forget that. I will never forget my culture. I will never forget that, even when I'm in New York, everywhere. But representing Jamaica was so important to me. And I still represent Jamaica. And we wave that flag and are proud Jamaicans. We have proud Jamaicans all over. And I just wanted to, just say thank you for you to have this platform, and thank you for, everyone just tuning in and listening and giving that support, and know that, we are representing you the best that we can, and we always go for the win. And even if you don't go for the win, we know that we got some backup because we came with a loaded team with our best, so that we can take those shots and we can win.
Indeed. I love that. I love that. And you just segue into my next question. Did not go to school in Jamaica. And I love to ask my athletes this
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
If you had an opportunity to attend high school in Jamaica, which school would it have been? If you had gotten an opportunity to go to high school in Jamaica and compete at champs, which school, which school would you fancy going to?
Okay, so I'm gonna say this but I don't wanna, nobody get upset at the school I pick or anything, but I always like watching Home with Tech, and I also like St. Jago, but I love it because every time when I would see them, they have these hairstyles, and it's like it was always so like, wow, I like that. It was so like
That's Homewood,
stand out.
right? That's Homewood
Yes,
Technical.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yes. So I just always love when they get on the track, and I see the styles and everything that they come with. That always caught my eye. And St. Jago always performed great. I'm pretty sure that if I performed in Jamaica, I'd be one of those tops that you love as I did in New York. But yes, I think those are the two schools. And like I said, I just could not miss the hairstyles. I couldn't.
A woman of style yourself
Yeah.
and fashion. Donia Ray Lee saying, "Good night, everyone. Chevron demonstrate the strength of a woman. A woman love will always win. Bless up. Best wishes to you and your family, of course. Best wishes to you and Jamie and the boys." And with that said, of course, Andrea Bliss is sending you love. You would have been on team with Andrea
Yeah.
herself, another outstanding hurdler
Yes.
for Jamaica. Now we're going to get into a little game. I'm going to test your memory. You made your
Not
first
that good.
you made your first Olympic team 2004.
Yes.
And I want you to name as many of your team members who were on this team. Let's see how good your memory is. I have all the names here. Of course, Andrea is celebrating because you said St. Jago, and St.
Yes.
Jago was where
Yes.
she went to
Yes.
school. Okay,
They
let's
done.
go now. 2004.
Okay, I would say I'm gonna start with Aileen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna Asafa,
Mm-hmm.
Usain, Veronica. We have Danny McFarlane. We have Davian Clark.
Mm-hmm.
We have um, um, Michael Michael
We had 3 Michaels on this team.
yeah, we have Michael
Yeah.
Frater, we have Michael Blackwood,
Mm-hmm.
and we have Ainsley. Was Ainsley on that team?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have Bridget, Delarine London.
Mm-hmm.
We have Trisha.
Yes, Trisha Smith was there.
and,
Yes.
and we have Kim, our jumper.
Kimberly.
Barrett.
Let me see. Oh, Kimberly Barrett. Yes.
We have Debbie Ann Paris. We have Patricia Allen. We have Brandon Simpson. We have Sharon Simpson. We have Karan Stewart.
Mm-hmm. You're doing well. Karen was there. Yeah, you're doing well.
Karan Stewart. We have Pete. Wait, was Peter Gay Dowdy on the team?
No, Peter Gay
Okay.
wasn't there.
Oh,
No.
okay. No. A lot. Oh,
Did you say
Dean Griffith?
Dean Griffiths? Let me
Yes.
see. Do I have a Dean Griffiths?
Dean Griffiths.
No,
For-
I don't have a
Dean?
Dean. Unless he was there,
on
but
the
he
team.
didn't. Maybe he was there, but he did not compete. It is possible. Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yes, you are right. Yes.
Dean.
Yes, Dean. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Maurice Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And who else?
You're doing well.
Who else?
This was a big team, though. I should let you know.
Oh.
This team was a big team.
Yes, I said Asafa, right? I said Asafa, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you a hint. The relay team that won gold.
Okay.
You did say Veronica, and you did say Sharon.
And Karan.
Yes.
Karen
Karen didn't compete, though. Karen wasn't on that relay team.
Where's my and Aileen? I said it.
Yeah, you said Aileen.
Mm.
Who started that relay? Who was the starter on that relay? I'm going to give you a hint. She went to school in Florida, university in Florida.
Oh wait, well, one I can't forget. Noveline was on the team.
Yeah, Noveline was there also.
Florida. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, lead off leg.
Yes.
But why am I doing leg right now?
She won a silver medal in the 100 meters.
Okay.
She won a silver medal in the 100 meters in Sydney at the Sydney Games 2000. That's Tana Lawrence. Tana, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I definitely went blank on that one.
Yeah, Tana Lawrence, yeah.
Why don't I remember that one? I don't know.
But you did well. Other members on this team was Dwight Thomas was there.
Dwight, yes.
Yeah.
Dwight.
Jermaine Gonzalez was there.
Yes.
Lacina Golden Clark was there.
Yes. I
Maurice
mentioned him.
Wignall was
I th-
also there.
oh yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
two
There was a
Maurice.
lot of names. I like that name
Yes.
a lot.
Yeah, this team was a big team. You did well. And Sandy Richards was also there.
Sandy, yes, yes, yes,
Nadia Davy, Richard
yes,
Phillips,
yes, yes, Richard. Yes,
Renetta Smith was also
yes,
there.
yes,
James Beckford was
yes,
there.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
Those are good.
this was a big team. You did say
Yes,
Delarine, Ennis
yes,
London
yes.
and
And
stuff.
and
So
I
this was
love
a very
my
big team.
teammates. I love my teammates. I I was treated very well. I never felt like I wasn't, a part of the team, like I was from someplace else. I received a lot of love from my teammates.
Awesome. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
I love to hear that. The next thing now we're going to do a quick pick. I'm going to name two things and
Okay.
you're going to pick one. Ice bath or massage?
Oh, massage. Yes.
Early morning or evening training?
Evening.
Sneakers or flip-flops?
Sneakers.
Protein shake or smoothie?
Smoothie.
Solo or team training?
Team training.
Cold or hot shower?
Hot.
Motivational playlist or music?
Motivational.
Healthy or cheat meal?
Healthy.
Spikes with socks or without socks?
Socks.
Meat or vegetarian meal?
I'm gonna go vegetarian.
Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
What is your favorite Jamaican dish?
Ackee and sawfish.
Ooh, ackee and
But I
saltfish.
need to put the oxtail in there because I'm really an oxtail person.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, I started this thing where I do a poem for my guest,
Yeah.
especially only for the athletes, only for the athletes. So I did a poem for you. So here we go. From Uniondale High School to Olympic glory, Shevon ran with courage, page by page. Through Athens, Beijing, your fire burned bright. Each hurdle conquered, a testament of might. Gold, silver, and bronze medals around your neck. Yet your trust, yes, yet your truest victory none could have planned. When life threw hurdles beyond the track, Shevon, you met them with love that never looked back. A voice of hope, your melody soar. On America's Got Talent, your soul roared. From running to singing to acting, your story is divine. A heart of gold, a heart of gold, a legacy that shines, a story, a legacy cemented in the hearts of many. A true Jamaican you are. We salute you.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Thank you.
And thank you so much for being here. Thank you very much for being here. Your story is a real love story. This wasn't just an interview, this is anything but just an interview. So I want to thank you very much for sharing your story with us, letting us in a little bit, because a lot we did not know about you. Yes, we know that you're a Jamaican athlete, you're an Olympian, but to let us in the way that you did, thank you very, very, very much for that. Thank you for coming and sharing. And please to give Jamie a hug for us. He is a part of the culture. He is a part of us. So before we go, normally I give my guest an opportunity to ask me one question. So while you think about your question, I just want to say, guys, thank you very much for being here to share in this love story, this romance from athlete to a lot of things, actor, singer, coach, you name it, giving back to her community. Thank you very much. Shevon. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for all the questions, the kind words, and everything. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And now Shevon will throw her question at me.
Okay, I have a question. My question's for you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yep, you
Okay.
can ask me a question. You are now asking the question. I normally give my guests one question. So
Okay.
whatever your question is,
Okay.
shoot.
Okay. What if you were running? Because I'm not sure if you were a runner or not.
I
If
was,
you,
yes. In my earlier days, I was.
because then I'm gonna pick. Because maybe you had an event, but you want to change it. I'm gonna say, what event would be your favorite event?
The 200 meters.
The 200 meters.
The two,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
I love the 200 meters. There's
Yeah.
something
Yes.
about that curve. There's
Yeah.
something about running that curve. And I have admired people like Veronica Campbell Brown on that
Yeah.
curve,
Yeah.
Aileen on that
Yeah.
curve,
Yeah.
Merlene Otti on that curve, Johan Blake,
Yeah. Yeah.
Brianna Liston. We've had some really super curve runners that
Yeah.
I love the middle and long distance, but there's something about the 200 for me.
I
Running
love the
that curve.
200 too. I feel like if I came back, I'd want to run the 200.
Yeah, yeah. If I have it to do all over again, the
Yeah.
200 meters would be my event for sure.
Yeah.
Nowhere else but the 200 meters.
Right,
That's it.
right.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
I I agree.
Yep. So before we go now, I'm just going to give you a minute to, just to wrap up for me, thanking the audience for being here and hanging out with us for almost 2 hours.
Yes, yes, yes. No, yeah, I know. I want to thank you guys, and I'm just gonna sing you a little bit,
Yes,
just a little
ma'am.
bit, so you guys of my song, so you guys know. You were born to be a star. You shine wherever you are, are, are. Don't let nobody dim your light, 'cause you were born to shine bright. There you go. Just a little bit of You Born to Be a Star.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for that. And thank you for being here. Someone in the comment is saying you should come and do Jamaica Masters. And yes, you should. Yes, you should think about it, Chevon. You should
You
think
know,
about
you know
the
what? Maybe I'll come and sing the anthem at the Masters. I think that might. I don't know if I'm ready to do Masters yet, but I definitely sing the anthem there, though.
Awesome, awesome. Siobhan, thank you very much for being here tonight and being a part of this space. And, when I reached out to you, you were so receptive. You said yes, and thank you for the work that you are doing. So, this is me saying thank you to the athletes for, bringing us glory, going out there on the world stage and bringing us glory even when you're injured, even when you're not up to it, even when you're having a bad day. You guys still lace up those spikes and you compete, gold, silver, bronze, or nothing, whatever, win, lose, or draw.
Yeah.
You are there in the colors for Jamaica. And I just want to say thank you for doing that
Thank you.
for Jamaica. Thank you for being a part of the legacy. Thank you for your contribution and everything that you're doing for the culture. And everywhere you go, you take Jamaica with you. Thank you very much for that. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You are,
And
you are
and thank you for everyone that came on today. I appreciate it. I love you guys all, and let us all continue to, spread that love and that support to, our athletes, our Jamaican athletes, and just being the best that we can be.
indeed, indeed. And before you go, one more question. What was your take on the World Championship in Tokyo this year?
Oh, I mean, there was a lot of great performances,
Mm-hmm.
at the World Championship. Wow. I mean, this, when you watch at this level, you're always going to see great competitions, and
Indeed.
seeing athletes at your best. And that's just the best part about it, is getting back there. It always makes you, that's the time when you're like, I know exactly how this feels. I know exactly how it feels. So, yeah, no, we had a great experience. I think what I'm looking forward to is the Olympics here in Los Angeles, since I am here. So if you come out here, please let me know so
I
that
plan to. I plan to be
okay.
there. Yes, I plan to be at LA 2028. That is my plan. So,
Yes,
yep.
yes,
So we will have to talk about it.
yes,
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Siobhan, thank you very much for being here. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. And don't be a stranger now, okay? Thank you very much.
yes.
All right, guys. It seemed as if she was having some technical problems there, but it came just at the right time when we are about to wrap up. So, guys, I just want to thank you very much for being here. I could not have done this without you guys. Every week you turn up and we have fun. Thank you all very, very, very much, for being here. Today is, I think, over the weekend, the 26th. When is the 26th? I think the 26th is Sundays. I just want to wish Regina Montague a happy, happy birthday that is coming up on the weekend. Regina Montague, another outstanding athlete for Jamaican Titchfield High School, also an outstanding coach at Dintil Technical High School. So, guys, thank you very much. Have a great night. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Africa, for tuning in. Thank you, Asia. Thank you, North America, South America, Antarctic, Oceanic, Europe, all 7 continents. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you for that, Andrea. Andrea is saying the 26th is Sunday. So Regina Montague will be having her birthday on Sunday. And guys, I'm telling you this from now that I will be having my birthday on Tuesday. So please to save all those birthday wishes for me for Thursday. I'll be back here next week, Thursday. So please to share to keep all those birthday wishes for me on Thursday. I have a birthday on Tuesday, but I will not see you on Tuesday, but I will see you on Thursday. So, guys, thank you very much. Andrea Blissy, big up yourself. Thank you. Alicia, thank you for being here. Monica, and okay, Andrea is saying, and Nathan Allen. Is it Nathan Allen? Yes, I think Nathan Allen will have a birthday himself on October 28th. So you see, I'm sharing birthday with some outstanding Jamaican athletes. Of course, Andrea Bliss had her birthday on the 5th of October. Ruth Williams Simpson, 3-time Olympian for Jamaica, she had her birthday on Sunday. So the birthdays just keep coming. And I think Patricia Hall had her birthday on the 15th of October. So happy birthday. If you were born in October, happy, happy birthday to everyone. And thank you guys for being here. Thanks everyone. And of course, we want to thank Siobhan again. I think Siobhan reconnect. No, she hasn't. Okay.
Hold on.
Oh,
Yeah.
Siobhan, you reconnect. All right,
Yes, I'm
guys.
here. I'm here. Can you
Okay, so
hear me?
Siobhan reconnect with us, guys. I think we want to stay for the night, but we're going to go now. So Siobhan, we were just wrapping up. I noticed that your connection dropped, which was fine
Yes.
because we were practically finished. But thank you again for being here, Lovey, and have a great weekend. And give
Thank
your husband.
you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Give your husband and the boys a hug, and tell them that it's coming from HP at HP Chat Track.
I
Bye.
will. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. All right, guys. So we are out of here. We are out of here. It is another Thursday, and it is all about Jamaica track and field legacy. So we will see you again next time. See you next time. Okay, so Patricia was the 16th, and Andrea's son will be on the 28th. So happy birthday. Happy birthday to Nathan, the son of Andrea Bliss. He will be having a birthday the same day as mine, which is on the 28th, which is Tuesday. And Patricia Hall had her birthday on the 16th. So guys, have a great night. Thank you for being here. Thank you all the Olympians, all the athletes that roll out. Vonnie M was here. Yvonne Saunders was here. Lilith Hodges was here. Vilma Charlton was here. Davian Clark was here. Andrea Bliss was here. Which other athlete was here? Etlyn Tate was also here. Dorothy Scott was here. All those Olympians were in the building tonight. So guys, thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for Webster, OCN Webster. Thank you for being here. I think he is a part of the Masters program or the Masters League himself. Thank you guys. Thank you. Much love. One love, as the great Bob Marley would say. One love. One love. Take care. Have a great weekend. And remember, guys, to be kind to someone. Be kind to someone. And a big congrats again to Johan Blake for being awarded by the state. Thank you, guys. Have a great night. Bye.
Jamaica's track and field legacy is unmatched. It is a story of triumph, resilience, and extraordinary talent. But do you know the stories behind the athletes who brought us glory? Hi, I'm HP, founder of HP Chat Track. My mission is simple: to celebrate the rich legacy of Jamaica track and field and shine a light on the incredible people who make it happen. Winning that race was a dream come true, but the journey wasn't easy. It's not just about medals, it's about inspiring the next generation. Jamaica track and field isn't just a sport, it's our pride, our culture, our heart. Every week I sit down with athletes, coaches and fans to bring you stories of dedication, passion and legacy. Plus, we've got exciting news and exclusive insights into the world of track and field. Make your Thursday night be at HP's place. Come hang out with us at HP Chat Track Studio, where track and field is our business. Jamaica, one people.